Welcome, everyone. Today in this video, we are going to explore the fascinating world of software development architecture. Our objective is to guide you through the different approaches and help you understand the benefits and drawbacks of monolithic and microservices architecture. Okay, so first of all, you guys need to understand what is architecture and what are the major components to build in any application. So let's first start with the architecture, and architectural is the internal designing and planning for building the application where functionality and aesthetics are the two key elements of process. Now, talk about the components for building an application. The first component is front-end, the second component is back-end, and the third component is the database. Any application is built by the combination of these three components. Whether it is a web application, mobile application, or desktop application. Okay, now let's start with the monolithic architecture. The word itself says, compose all in one piece. Monolithic software is designed to be self-contained, where the program's components or functions are combined in single code base. Let's begin with the monolithic architecture. In this approach, the entire software application is built as a single, tightly coupled unit. All the components, such as the user interface, business logic, and database, are bundled together. This architecture is known for its simplicity and ease of development. Now, with the help of an example, we understand how it works. I am taking an example of an e-commerce application. In this architecture, you can see all the components and modules are in a single unit, or we have a single project in which all the components and modules are there, like the UI interface of an application, the catalog service, the SC service, the discount service, and the order service. These services are modules that are tightly coupled with each other, and this architecture is called monolithic architecture. Okay, now let's talk about the advantages of monolithic architecture. First, simplicity of development. All source code is located in one place, which can be quickly understood. Second, simplicity in debugging. The debugging process is simple because all code is located in one place. You can easily follow the flow of a request and find an issue. Third, simplicity in testing. You test only one service without any dependencies. Everything is usually clear. Fourth, simplicity in deployment. Only one deployment unit should be deployed. Fifth, low cost to start. Package in a single deployment unit and deploy. So there is no overhead, neither in infrastructure costs nor in development costs. Okay, so this is all about monolithic, and now we are talking about microservices. The first question is, what is microservices architecture? So the microservices architecture takes a modular approach. The application is broken down into smaller, independent services that communicate with each other through APIs. Each service focuses on a specific business capability, allowing for flexibility and scalability. It also promotes better fault isolation and easier deployment. In this architectural style, an application is structured as a collection of services. The services are independently deployed, and they are loosely coupled. This is what the microservices architecture looks like. It is a bit different from monolithic. In monolithic, all the components and modules are in a single code base, but unlike monolithic, all the modules are designed and built separately, and their database is also separated, so it is a complete application divided into small modules to enhance productivity, reduce resource costs, and make it easier for developers to understand and make changes or add new features. By dividing the modules, it is easy to understand each module separately. Advantages of microservice architecture. First, accelerate scalability. Each service operates independently, allowing seamless integration of new components without downtime. Teams can choose the best tech for each service, avoiding compatibility issues. Deploying services across multiple servers helps prevent performance issues and minimize the risk of vendor lock-in. Second, improve fault isolation. If one service fails, it doesn't affect the entire system. Third, enhance team productivity. Microservices empower small teams to focus on developing, deploying, and maintaining specific services without dealing with the complexities of the entire system. Fourth, quick deployment time. The microservices architecture speeds up releases as each service evolves and deploys independently, reducing the time and risk of coordinating changes across the entire application. This decoupling enhances agility, allowing quick updates or fixes with minimal disruption to the overall system. Fifth, increase cost efficiency. Microservices optimize resource allocation by focusing on small, well-defined services. This reduces development and maintenance costs, ensuring efficient resource use without redundancy. Let's put some light on the difference between monolithic and microservice architectures. The first thing is design.in monolithic single code bases with multiple interdependent functions. But in microservices, independent software components with autonomous functionality that communicate with each other using APIs. Second, development in monolithic, it requires less planning at the start but gets development is increasingly complex to understand and maintain. But in microservices, it requires more planning and infrastructure at the start but gets easier to manage and maintain over time. Third, deployment in monolithics. The entire application is deployed as a single entity. But every microservice is an independent software entity that requires individual containerized development. Fourth, debugging in monolithic trace the code path in the same environment. So it is easy to find the bug. But in microservices, requires advanced debugging tools to trace the data exchange between multiple microservices. Fifth, modification in monolithic, small changes introduce greater risks as they impact the entire code base. But in microservices, you can modify individual microservices without impacting the entire application. Sixth, scale in monolithic, we have to scale the entire application, even if only certain functional areas experience an increase in demand. But in microservices, you can scale individual microservices as required, which saves on overall scaling costs.